This is Let's Talk Business with your host, Marc Ebinger. Now, here's Marc.
Welcome back to the Let's Talk Business podcast. Coming up on the show today, we're going to talk about the impact of BNI, or Business Networking International, is having for members of the chiropractic and insurance industries. In studio with us today is Gretchen Dunlap with Peterson Chiropractic. Gretchen, first timer here, first time podcast?
First time. Well, not first time podcast, but first time here. So, okay. Yes.
You've done other podcasts. Oh, my gosh.
One other one.
Oh, one other
one. Just one.
All right. Well, I'm glad to have you here, Gretchen. Also in studio with us today is Fernie Rizzo with Rizzo Insurance Group. Now, Fernie, you've been here once before, but welcome back.
Thank you very much. Excited to be back.
Yeah, I know we're hiring a VA for you right now. Is that
today,
still?
as we speak?
Oh, okay. See, that's
as
leverage.
We speak,
right? It's happening without us. You know what I mean? I love all that kind of stuff. All right, I'm your host, Marc Ebinger, the owner of Kruka's Virtual Staffing, a company that recruits and staffs experienced overseas administrative assistants for insurance agents who need help with policy management, claims processing, and client communication. If you're curious about the most common tasks that virtual assistants are doing for businesses, head over to our website at krukas.com and grab our list of the top 20 tasks that VAs are doing for businesses like yours. Link is in the podcast description below. All right, a quick reminder to follow Let's Talk Business podcast on all major podcast platforms and social media where you can catch a video version of the show. You can get to everything easily from our website at satalkradio.com. All right, so Gretchen, you're in the chiropractic business. It's a family-owned business. So tell me a little bit about your business.
Well, we've been around for almost 40 years. My dad opened up his first practice back in 1985, so we've been around for a very long time. I'm 49, so it's been in my life most of my life, and I love it. I've seen a lot of lives changed. I've worked in the office with the office over 10 years. I did a lot of stuff inside the office for a while, but then I found my passion to be outside talking about chiropractic and meeting people and educating people. So I do the community outreach and education, and so I don't know. I just love talking about chiropractic. So,
how did you end up in a BNI group?
We were at a chiropractic seminar thing in a marketing class, and somebody kept talking about BNI, and my brother, Dr. Tim, was like, hey, why don't you go check one of those out and see if that can be a benefit to us? And I went, and I thought I loved the structure of it. I loved the weekliness of it, the building relationships. So I said, let's do it. Let's try it out. And it worked really well for us.
Now, define what you mean by it worked really well.
It has produced a lot of income into the office as far as new patients. And so it's been productive for the office itself. And then it also has a lot of personal growth aspects to it. So I feel like it's grown me a lot as a person because it just has things built into it that make me stretch and get uncomfortable and get better at what I do.
Now, there's these things called power teams, right, within groups. And I know, Fernie, you guys push power teams, I think, pretty hard over there. I think I've seen one other group where they really push the power teams. They're really honed in. But you guys do pretty good over at Hill Country, too. You actually do your introductions by power team groups, which I think is a pretty cool way to do it.
Yeah.
But how has that been effective for you, or do the referrals just kind of come in from everywhere, or how does that work?
So far, when I've been in BNI, my particular power team is not very big or strong. So I haven't had that. I've seen it be very strong, like in the trades and stuff like that. But for me, it's more educating the people in my group about the benefits of chiropractic, them becoming curious and checking it out, choosing to get under care, and then they're referring in their family and friends and that kind of a thing. So it's mostly like that for me. And then I also like to get in front of their businesses and do talks. I like to do health talks, which cover a lot of different health topics, but primarily chiropractic. And so I like to go to their business meetings and add a little extra value by doing a little talk. So then, therefore, it spreads out even further. So one BNI person becomes 5 or 150. You know what I mean? Like it's
a heck of a sales team to build.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to go to Fernie for just a second because I know you have a chiropractor in your group as well, and there's a power team situation going on there, as I understand it, between the massage therapist and the chiropractor. Is there any other elements to that you're aware of?
Yeah, so we're bringing back power teams. We haven't had them for a couple of years, and because our chapter was small, but we've more than doubled in size over the last 6 months. So we'll be bringing those back because we feel there are strong, referral partners in our group in their own contact sphere. So yeah, the chiropractor and massage therapist, they are great referral partners.
Yeah.
We're talking countless number of referrals back and forth to each other, So yeah, we're gonna have 7 power teams. That's how big our our chapter has grown.
Yeah.
You know, so we'll be implementing those this week, actually.
It's really a targeted approach to BNI referral, referring. That I think is interesting. And, it can go offline, too, to like LinkedIn. You can really build power teams just off of LinkedIn if you know who you're targeting, who would be a good referral partner for you. But have you had a situation yet where you've had a massage therapist in your group?
No.
Okay.
No, so I think I've been back with this BNI since February, so it hasn't been super long, and it hasn't been built yet. I don't think the only other power team person I have is a health insurance, which is something, but it's not really fully.
Yeah.
It doesn't make for a strong team.
Yeah, chiropractors and health insurance. I don't know,
It's
right?
yeah,
a little
it's-
contentious at times. It's like, are you going to pay or are you not going to pay? It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Just pay the bill. But
Yeah, so I think it just kind of like Fernie's saying, you're just getting back to it. I think it's just one of those focus points to get on, in the chapter.
do you have any particular examples of a good referral within the group that really kind of turned into something for the business over there at Peterson Chiropractic?
I would say one of the best one that's happened so far since I've been back is being able to get out in front of a group of about 150 people and do a health talk at their meeting. It brought in a lot of people that were interested in seeing if chiropractic could benefit them. So again, seeing from one person to be able to get in front of that many people is pretty phenomenal. And without that one person, I may have not have gotten in front of that many people. So to me, that was a pretty big deal.
How do you get more of those? Right?
I keep asking,
You
yeah.
gotta keep asking.
Keep doing it in my 45 seconds,
Yeah,
letting
a
them know
good
I'm
referral
available.
for me is an educational opportunity in front of 50 or more people.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you guys do sponsorships and stuff like that too, where you guys are looking to other people in the BNI group they're doing an event and you're like, hey, I want to be a sponsor because it gets
We're starting to look at that. Yeah, we do have some folks in the chapter that do events that need sponsorship and want sponsorship. So we're starting to talk about that as I develop those relationships.
We had a did you guys go to the BNI Mega Mixer that we had on
Yes.
August 1st?
Yeah.
Okay. We had a chiropractic group there. They did very, very well, by the way.
Okay.
They were doing scans, some kind of scan thing. My wife and daughter are actually going up there.
Awesome.
But it's some kind of scan they're able to do there, and then, I don't know, they got lots of business out of that. So
Yeah.
just, I don't know.
Good to know, yeah.
Yeah. Working a booth somehow.
I think that sounds like you're going to be co-sponsoring the next
Sounds
mixer.
like that's what somebody's
sounds like-
talking about over there.
Well, I mean, our next one's going to be, it's going to be a different location. We're going for 300 to 350 next time.
Wow.
And we're going to do about twice as many sponsors. So we're going to look to have, there's going to be a lot more it's going to be almost like an expo feel to it. But over at Aggie, well, we'll see where it's going to end up. But maybe at
And
this
the air
Aggie Park
conditioning
one.
will be working.
Yep,
at the
air
next one,
conditioning. Yep, the sound system will work right. All of that kind of stuff.
right? Just kidding.
Yeah, the room would be more conducive to an actual, presentation and such too. We don't have to go into a small room. Anyway, all the things.
Yeah.
So, if there's other chiropractic businesses out there that are considering, should they do this? Should they look at it? What advice would you give them?
I definitely recommend it because it is because of the design of BNI and all the parts and the weekly meeting and the it's very much so designed to really get to know people, teach people what you do, to gain those referral partners, for them to understand how to refer to you. It's of all the networking things that I do, it's the most productive one that I'm involved in.
Oh, that's interesting.
And so, I definitely recommend it for any business, but definitely for chiropractors. Because otherwise, people aren't going to know who they are. People don't know chiropractors. They don't know where to go. You got to get out in front of them for them to know.
Now,
who
if
you are.
somebody's not doing well in BNI, right, because that happens. I'm sure you guys have been around BNI long enough to see somebody's not doing well. What advice would you give somebody who's maybe not getting referrals? In their
I
BNI
would
group?
say, look, are you doing all the parts you're supposed to be doing? Because if you're doing all the pieces of BNI, doing the education, streamlining your education that you give to the group, practicing for your feature presentation, doing your one-to-ones, logging all your information. If you're doing all the parts, you're going to be successful. It's been around for almost 40 years. It knows what it's doing. And what I find is that when people aren't successful, generally they're lacking in some of the parts.
Now, how long have you been doing BNI networking?
Total probably around 5 years.
Okay, so what's the biggest takeaway that you've learned from being a part of BNI for that long?
I would say really coming back to the personal stretching, like it makes me do things I don't want to do that I'm not comfortable doing, and therefore it makes me better at doing what I do as a a community outreach education person for Peterson Chiropractic, because it forces me to get comfortable doing that out in the real world, and for it to become more natural for me.
Love it. Thanks, Gretchen. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Little insight there. Was that as easy as you thought it was going to be?
I mean, pretty, you gave me the questions, so I was able to be somewhat prepared. Yes. Thank you for the questions.
Because I'm learning too, It's
Yeah.
like I'm always bringing people in on interviews, and sometimes I just take for granted certain things.
Yeah.